Hi, Tyler. Nice to meet you. I like to start off my interviews by asking artists, what does your bio say? Or if you don't have a bio, what would you like it to say?
So my bio says independent artist from Columbia, South Carolina.
And I do really like when artists answer that way when they either don't have a bio or have a short one. Describe your sound to someone new that's never heard you before. What would you say that your sound is?
I think I would describe it as kind of cinematic. I'm inspired by a lot of film. I'm inspired by artists like MF Doom, Earl Sweatshirt, Eminem, that type of stuff.
Cool. Hold on to that film stuff because we're going to talk about it later. Are you originally from Columbia?
Yes, born and raised.
What side of town are you from?
Irmo.
I laugh. So I'm originally from Columbia as well. I grew up on Garner's Ferry side of towns in the southeast, and I always laugh because I have a friend who says she's from Irmo, but her address says Columbia. So I was like, well, really?
Right.
You're not from Irmo. You're from Columbia. What high school did you go to, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh yeah, no. Dutch Fort.
Okay. And I think I have some friends that went to Irmo High, Dutch Fort. That's it. Those are the only two high schools.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, who is your favorite Columbia? Either independent artist or someone maybe that's bigger.
Okay, so for Columbia, I would have to say MIDIMarc, Markham. He's definitely my favorite artist and one of my big inspirations. And I guess artists globally, probably, like I said before, probably MF Doom.
Cool. Is there an artist either from Columbia or surrounding areas that you want to work with, but you have not? So I say like surrounding areas, I think North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina.
I'm not sure. I'm kind of new to the music scene in here, as far as like Columbia. So I love like meeting people. I'm pretty open with doing collabs or meetups with pretty much anybody really if I really like vibe with your music.
With that being said, so when did you, or how long have you been making music? And then follow-up question, when did you decide to kind of take it like start doing a career, kind of going after it? So when did you feel the passion first? And then like, when did you decide to start chasing it more?
Okay. Yeah. So I guess when I was younger, I would say like probably like middle school is when I started like writing and rapping for my friends and stuff like that.
Right.
As far as like when I started making music, it was only recently. I would say like 2019.
Oh, nice.
2018. Yeah.
So you got some good pandemic bops.
Yeah. My whole first album was made during the pandemic.
Talk about that a little bit. I do like to ask artists about since you like kind of started right before the pandemic, you wouldn't necessarily be able to talk about how your creative process changed, but how did you develop your creative process while being like quarantined or, not doing shows, so being as physically social?
I guess I just had a good team. I was one of the people that had to continue to go to work, even though there was a pandemic happening. So like I was still around people and just trying to be safe. But aside from that, I met Markham around that same time.
Nice.
And he just really encouraged me to create. Like at that point, music was just going to be a hobby at that point until I met him, and he encouraged me to just create. And to like follow one of my dreams, which was putting out music. So yeah.
Tell the story. I love like the producer artist collaboration stories. Tell that story. So what happened? How did y'all meet?
Okay, so if I remember this correctly, we had some type of like movie night where him and his roommate just invited a bunch of people over. I knew his roommate, but I had not met him yet. So I met him, and we just got to talking about music. I told him that I wanted to start producing music, and he asked me if I had like ever produced anything, and I was like, nah. And I told him that I had thought about rapping, but I just kind of had given that up pretty much. And from there is when we started just meeting, and I showed him a couple of my demos that I had, and he really liked it. And that's kind of where our relationship kind of started. Like I said, I think that was around maybe 2018, 2019.
Gotcha. What drew you to his production other than the fact that he's like huge here? But like,
right.
like what else? What is it about his production that, kind of solidified that relationship?
I guess it's the fact that I felt like he could do anything. I didn't feel like there was a style of hip hop that he couldn't do. And that was just me hanging out with him showing me all the stuff that he's done, him showing me instrumentals that were just in his vault. And once I heard like what he was capable of, I was like, yeah, there's no style that he can't really do,
Right. So let's talk about your most recent project. What I see on Spotify, because that's my platform of choice, is the Black Box Initiative. Tell me a little bit more about its essence, and what I mean by that is like, where were you at when you created that project? How did it kind of fall into your just like all of your projects, your discography, and then I'll wait because I have a follow-up question.
Okay. That one, I feel like that one, I wrote that so long ago. That's why I'm having such a hard time remembering. I wrote it a while ago, but it was a relationship I made on Instagram from this guy that I met. He lives in Canada. His name is Empty Sentiment. And I heard his style on his Instagram page, and I felt like our styles could mesh well. It's kind of atmospheric. It's a lot of like instrumentals. So that project, along with like all of my projects, I feel like were kind of made at the same time. I have a bad habit of like working on too much stuff at once. So
Gotcha.
like a lot of my stuff is written while I'm working on like other projects and stuff like that. So
with that, so I noticed, like it's 7 minutes long. And it always surprises me when I listen to just like what different things that indie artists do. Was that purposeful? Like, was there a reason that it was so short, or like was there like a reason that it's truncated like that? Or
I feel like the attention span of the listener is shorter. So like for me, I have a vision. Like I got the instrumentals from him, and I didn't feel like this project needed to be super long.
Got it.
I guess it really just depends on the project, but again, I feel like the attention span of the listener is really short, and I feel like if you present it in a certain way that's like easily digestible, I guess, it's I guess just more how do I say? I guess it's just more digestible, I guess.
Do you feel because of like the shortening attention spans of listeners, do you feel stifled in that way as an artist? Like, do you feel
I don't.
Good?
I don't.
Okay.
And a lot of the music that I'm listening to now that I'm inspired by is really short and to the point. Like, and especially when it comes to my writing, it's like, and when I make the music, it's just like a thought that I'm having. So like, it's really just like this is how I'm feeling in the moment. So like, there's very little song structure. In my first album, there was more song structure, but in a lot of my stuff recently, it's just like, here's this thought I'm having, here you go.
It's really good for replay value, because what I enjoy about when I listen to shorter projects like that, because you play it over and over again.
Right.
And your project, it has a way of like you said, it's very atmospheric. So you kind of don't know, like, when songs begin and end, and then like when it like is on repeats, and like when you get to the end and start back over, it's really nice to just kind of like, it's very present. And I feel like sometimes a lot of music isn't, like it's music for a purpose. So it's like dance music or love music or, Rage Against the Machine music, like whatever it is. But that project is very present. Like, it feels like it has its own awareness. And so I thought it was interesting that it was so short time wise, but like it does fulfill its purpose, like you said, of just, you know, being like a short burst of creativity. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Doing good.
You want to come join us?
Yes. Here we go.
So, it's very, very rare that I get to interview both artist and producer at the same time. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Tyler's already answered them.
Okay.
First, what does your bio say? So, like your biography when you either submit to publications or your Instagram bio, what does it say? Or what would you like for it to say if it
That's a
doesn't say
great
it
question.
right now?
I have a bio on my website, but I don't immediately remember right now what
That's
it says.
okay.
But you know, it talks about I guess, you know, me breaking into well, you know, let's go with what it needs to say. You know what I mean? Because you know, I might need
You
to
can
go
do
and
both.
edit it.
You can do both.
Well, since I don't remember exactly what it says, you know, I give a fresh version of it or whatever. You know, I broke into the music scene. I say I broke into the music scene, but the truth is, you know, I had you know, two people, well, three. I'll say three people. You know, a friend I met in high school that was, you know, definitely more advanced in music than I was. That, you know, showed me some things. Then by the time I graduated from high school, graduated from Lower Richland High School.
That's right.
You know, I through another friend, you know, his father was DJ Prince Ice. So I met DJ Prince Ice, and he took me under his wing. He gave me the name MIDIMarc, and from there, I re-met Fat Rat the Czar, now Master Splinter. I say re-met because, you know, we're from the same neighborhood, so I've known him since I was 10 years old. You know, but when I was 10, I wasn't making music. But him and his crew very much influenced me wanting to make music. So by the time I re-met him, of course, they were in full swing, and I'm just starting out. And it was cool. It was like, oh yeah, this little kid from next door making beats now, you know. So I had mentors along the way that you know, ushered me in to the Columbia music scene, and from there I continued to meet more people, you know, DJs, other producers, artists, and you know, just continued to develop my sound, and you know, just go and just, you know, throw some paint where it ain't and see what sticks. And you know, blessed to still be a part of the music scene, and you know, now at this stage, helping people get their start the same way people helped me get my start.
What's your favorite part of your legacy? Like when you talk about, you know, because all three of us are originally from Columbia, what's your favorite part of what impact you'll bring to the city? And then, yeah, like what do you want to leave for Columbia when either you decide to stop making music or do something else?
I think one of my favorite parts of my legacy is, I guess, continuing. Well, one, the work that I did. I work with artists, but you know, the main person that I work with, and artists that, you know, just continue to just really just keep things going, and it's inspired me to keep things going, and I just learned a tremendous amount of just things, just about life and everything from so the work I did with Fat Rat the Czar, now Master Splinter, but then also just keeping the torch lit for beat culture, and being part of the reason why, at least, you know, in Columbia and in South Carolina, when somebody says that they are a beat maker or they're a producer, it's not so foreign like it was, you know, in the year 2000. I tell somebody I'm making beats, and even a little bit before that, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just doing this thing, and to a lot of people, it's, you know, it's weird. Like, what are you doing with these cassette tapes and all of this stuff or whatever, you know? So, through, you know, remixing songs, remixing people's albums, and also participating And then sometimes making a spectacle, at the different like beat battles, throughout the
Right.
state. You know, making it to where it's exciting enough for somebody that sees it when they're a kid, and now to meet them, they're grown now, and they tell me about how they, their father brought them to the beat battle at New Brooklyn Tavern. And
Right.
they saw me, you know what I mean?
Right.
So just keeping it going, keeping it interesting, and those kids are going to do the same thing, and somebody's going to see them when they're young, and it's going to keep on going, So that's part of my leg of the race.
I love that. So I asked this question earlier. I asked Tyler this question, and so now I want to get the question from your perspective.
Okay.
What is your story about meeting Tyler and like becoming the producer artist duo?
So around 2013, I started going to, it was a new church for me, the Columbia Church of Christ. And that's where I met Tyler. Was specifically Tyler and our mutual friend, David. And there were some other, people at church that were, not just interested in hip hop, but also like making or wanting to make their own. And that was like David was making, some music. Tyler wasn't making music yet, but he was very interested, and we kind of became a little bit of a crew, And we just, we hung out. We were friends in real life, and Tyler expressed wanting to make music, and he was my friend. And once again, I remember when I didn't have resources
Right.
to make music, and the people that helped me, and I'm very familiar with where he was at, and I was in a position to help, and along with that, we were friends, so it was a no-brainer, once he was ready to like actively, let's start meeting and, discussing ideas, you know what I mean? And figuring out his sound, his style, because he's very new, you know what I mean? Like we're starting from the very beginning, not a lot of recordings,
Right.
And so it's, let's see what we can make happen,
So in what you were saying about like leaving your legacy and stuff like that, particularly for leaving it here in Columbia, are there any artists that you have not worked with, Columbia artists that you haven't worked with, that you want to work with?
I can't. That's not really I guess it's not a list that I have. But I'm just, I'm working at the Jam Room, music studio, Jam Room in the Boom Room, and I'm just excited to, work with new artists. Especially these days it's a lot easier for people to record themselves.
Right.
And with all of this technology at everybody's technology and convenience at everybody's fingertips, when somebody wants to come and record and want that experience, or I take that seriously, and I just know whatever level of talent anybody is at, I'm able to help them make another step forward,
Gotcha.
So I don't have any, this, oh man, I need to work with this person. Like, I'm just growing in my love for collaboration, and am excited, to work with. So, yeah, I'm just excited, for just to be able to still, after all these years, still be able to, give it a shot,
Right. So Tyler, Mark, both of you can answer this question. What's your favorite either song or project out of your like collaboration? It doesn't have to be the same answer. So if you have two different answers, that's fine. And then what's next for the duo?
Good questions. My favorite, probably probably Possession, just because that's the song that kind of started everything for me. I think that's the first song that I showed him. Um, it was just a random beat that I found on YouTube, and Markham seemed to like what me and David had put together. Um, so I think that one was the. I think that one is my favorite. It's kind of hard to pick a favorite because I just love the album altogether. And I guess as far as like what's next, I think we'll come up with something great. It's very easy for me to create music with Markham because we have that friendship as the foundation.
Right.
So there's no rush, but I know whatever we do create next, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to make it, and it's gonna be fun to share it with others. So
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking possession also. And I think was that the first song that we did? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't there for the recording, but just to hear the song back, like it was like, whoa. Just the way he tells, and as it should be, like nobody. It's great when nobody tells their story better than them,
Right.
and that's what happens in my opinion on the Apartment 231 album. Nobody's ever gonna tell Tyler's story better than him,
Right.
and just the honesty in telling the way he tells the story, and I was definitely blown away by what he delivered on Possession.
This is one of my favorite questions to have amongst like friends and then other like audiophiles and music heads. How do you feel about the state of music as a whole? So not just hip hop, not just, pop or country or whatever. Like, where do you think the industry is taking artists and then consumers too?
I think the industry is in a good place. As far as listening as a fan, I feel like there's just so many artists out there that like I'm never really bored. And if I am bored, like it's easy to find someone else to listen to. So yeah, I feel like as a fan, it's in a good place, and I feel like Markham was saying earlier, like as creators, it's so easy to start creating yourself.
Right.
I was lucky enough to be able to record, like I said, at my friend's house. Nowadays, I got a good quality mic myself, so like I can record everything from my bedroom. And then after that, I just have to worry about mixing and making sure everything comes together well. So.
Yeah, you said where's the industry taking the artist and the consumer? The industry is taking money.
Valid.
No, the industry
Valid.
is they're continuing to innovate ways to make the most money.
Yep.
From the artist, from the consumer. But now, just as far as like music, the state that music is in, I love that no matter what your style of music is, there's room for you. It don't matter, what sounds weird to this group of people over here. There's millions of people ready to receive what you're making. You just got to figure out how to get to them.
Right.
But yeah, I love that kind of all styles of music, all eras of music also are coexisting right now. Mm-hmm. And when the next thing comes out, you don't know what era or what combination of style and era that you're gonna get, and to me that's exciting.
With that being said, as far as what the industry, like how the industry is going and what it looks like, do you feel any pressure to do anything differently? Because like you said, the industry, like basically there's like, I feel like the industry's always been money hungry, but it feels like it's just on 10 in this era. So do you feel any pressure to do anything differently other than create the way that you want to create?
No, I try my best to not let the business interfere with the music part. You know, it's like take care of the creation. Mm-hmm. And then after that, the same mind that created this music can create a way to, you know, share the music or market and promote the music.
Right.
You know, with an audience, try to keep them separate. And then once one side is done, then we can start talking about the other side, you know. But you know, by the time we hear a new song, it's new to us. The song has been in existence for a year.
Correct.
So when you copy you're starting behind anyway, you know,
right.
If you know, mimic something that you heard yesterday on TikTok or wherever, you know. And so, yeah, I try to let the ideas come. I believe that ideas come from heaven, like straight from you know what I mean? Straight from above or straight from the universe, straight from God to my mind, you know? And if I allow there to be a lot of noise in there from outside forces, from you know, being envious of what this person sounds like, then it's just going to ruin what I received, the idea, right. You know. But also, even with that, you know, reconciling and just knowing that, you know, nothing is new.
Right.
You know, so trying to have a balance with all of that.
Tyler, do you have any, I guess, like, tips for, like, since Markham was saying, like, to kind of separate the business part from the creation part? Do you have any tips or, like, ways that you do that and keep it separate, or things that you're working towards if maybe it's a little harder for you?
See, I'm very new to, like, the business side of it.
Makes sense.
So I don't know if I have any tips. I would just say, I guess just be yourself. Like you said, like Markham was saying, like the idea, I feel like the idea for the music kind of comes first.
Right.
And then how you present it to the world, that's going to come second. I guess that can be considered like the business side of things.
Right.
So whether that be like promo, I'm someone who loves doing like trailers for albums and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like the business side is something that can be learned. I think what's most important is making sure that you get your ideas out there.
Cool. Okay. All the like deeper questions are finished. I love to ask like fun questions just to get people's personality. So you both strike me as my people, and by my people, I mean anime people and game people.
Okay.
So what's your favorite anime from the 2000s? So like we were kind of youngins a little bit. And then what's your favorite anime now if you're caught up on recent ones?
That is a great question. I think from back then, from like the early 2000s, it was Samurai Champloo.
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's see, what else? Yu Yu Hakusho. And this might be earlier or late 2000s, but like Death Note.
I can't remember when that came out, but we'll allow it.
We'll allow it. And I guess recently, Attack on Titan was great. It was epic. One Piece, I mean, it's always happening.
Is it still going on?
It's still happening. It is still happening.
I love that.
It's like
I love that for the nerds. I do.
Almost 1,000, close to 2,000 episodes.
That's nuts.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I love it though. I love it.
Okay. Is the manga still going on too?
Yes, it is.
What does that man do? Does he sleep?
The crazy part of it, this is what's said online about him. He only allows himself to see his family once a week because if he sees his family more than that, he'll want to spend more time with them. So he is completely committed to finishes his story before his family, which isn't a good thing. But like his priority is telling this story and then his family, which is wild.
I mean, let's pin, because that level, I mean, that's creativity, but sometimes it's just like, like when you're like so dedicated to the thing. Because like he's been doing it for years, so like he just hasn't seen him. Like
right, once a week. Couldn't be me, but once a week.
Okay.
One Piece fans have been actively contributing to the destruction of this man's family.
Oh no!
Oh no! No, I've just been so, and don't get me wrong. So, just a personal opinion on One Piece. The reason that I can't get into it is because when it first came out, or at least when it first came to the States, I'll say that, Luffy's American voice actor was so irritating. I've just sworn off the show. Like, people tell me that the show, it's like good, and they're like, you gotta watch this arc, and you gotta watch that arc. I can't get over it.
You can't get, yeah.
Because it was coming off the heels of Naruto, who also has a very irritating voice actor. And I think after both of those, I kind of just swore off shonen. At that time, I was like maybe 13, 14. I was just like, hey, no more boy stories. I'm done. No, thank you.
Yeah. It's something you definitely have to get used to.
I was wondering if I was going to be able to participate in this question because I'm very new. Well, I'm not going to say I'm on the surface with anime. So when you said, I don't think I really watched anything in the 2000s, but I feel I want to say the Boondocks.
Hey.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
I definitely watched the Boondocks.
Yes, you did.
Before that, me and my friends were definitely, we didn't do the Pokemon cards, but we watched the cartoon and we were definitely, had our Game Boys, at school, with that little connector cord so we could battle each other,
Yeah.
But currently, and I got a lot of friends, Tyler being one of them that, watches anime. But I'm stuck on One Piece. Not One Piece. I'm stuck on One Punch Man. Like I watch One Punch Man over and over and over.
Season 1 is so good. Season 1 is so good. People say that season 2 is pretty good too because it took a while to come back. Season 1, so good.
The way One Punch Man got me through the pandemic, because I could just relate to him so much. Like, I just want to go to the grocery store and buy green beans on sale. Like that's
Saitama is really like quintessential character.
And as soon as, because on anything that we're a fan of, there's that moment where you get hooked. As soon as that crab man wearing the tighty whities and that little boy with the butt chin had drawn them nipples on, I was like, oh, yep.
Here we go.
I'm here. I'm locked in. This is ridiculous. I like it.
Oh, that's so funny. Continuing with the My People questions, that's what I'll call them from now on. Smash main. Who is your Smash main? And which game? Melee or what is it? Ultimate is your favorite?
Melee was at the GameCube?
Yes, Melee was a GameCube.
That was definitely, I play it on the Switch now, but yeah, like
an era.
Smash Brothers Melee, obsessed. To this day, actually I was talking to Hero about this yesterday at the show. It was Master Splinter's album release for the Dojo project. But because Smash Brothers Melee, 2 games that I do not have to like warm up on is Spades and Smash Brothers.
I know that's right.
Let's go.
So run it.
Like right, it don't
right
matter.
Now.
It don't matter. But yeah, you give me, Ness. I will obliterate anybody with Ness.
But you know what though? That checks. They say nest mains are like very calculated and very like meticulous. So you know what? That tracks.
You just got to time his moves because he's not the fastest. You know what I mean? But yeah, once you learn where your opponent's gonna go and how they move or whatever, you can aim his little psychic attacks and you blowing them off the screen.
I actually hate. What's the name of the game? I can't remember.
Oh, the game that he's from?
Yeah.
Earthbound.
Earthbound. I actually hate that game. Never played it. But that's because I got my ass whooped by a nest so bad that I hate the game by default.
Yeah.
I'm not even good at Smash. Like I'm not even good. But Tyler, do you play Smash?
I don't. So I grew up playing PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
So
Valid.
when that PlayStation 1 came out, it was, I'm trying to think. It was Madden. It was
Tekken.
Spyro. It was.
Oh yeah, Spyro.
Yep,
Yeah.
Spyro too.
And then after that, I guess into the PlayStation 2, it was anything with a story mode I'm going to love.
Yeah.
So it's a game called Enter the Matrix, a game called Path of Neo. I played all the Spider-Man games, stuff like that.
Okay, gotcha.
I love getting entrenched in whatever story mode they have to offer.
Okay. Do you still game?
Yes, I do.
What's your favorite game right now?
Right now, Last of Us. I play that over and over and over again.
I hear
both
such
games.
good things. I'm not a zombie person, but I hear good things that like the story's good. Did you
Yes.
watch the show?
I did, and I loved it.
Good.
I loved it. That's one of the adaptations that was done like perfectly. Like the creator of the
Nice.
game and the creator of the show or the person who helped bring the show to life. They worked so closely together.
Nice.
And the changes that they made from the video game, from the source material, actually elevated the game. And I feel like that's not done a lot. So, yeah.
Cool. Marvel or DC?
DC.
Or a third, I don't know, are there like third comic book houses? I do only know about Marvel and DC.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah, there are definitely some other ones, but a lot of times they getting swallowed up by the bigger companies, whatever. But
Markham, DC for you as well?
so yes, definitely DC. I'm a little torn because like the output that Marvel had with their movies, but when I say DC, it's not because of their movies. I grew up reading the comic books,
That's right.
and and my mom, she was a DC head, so she's very, she shares the thing. She always shares the thing that she loves. So I end up being a fan, through her for like DC and even like Star Trek and Star Wars or whatever. Like that all flowed through her. And so she made sure that I had Superman comics, Batman comics, Flash, and yeah.
I love that.
Like, those have to thaw out because you have to keep them in the freezer.
I heard that people put them in the air fryer.
I've not tried such things.
I've heard people put them in the air fryer.
I've seen it. Me, I don't. I've never had. Have I? Nah, I probably have had a. What's it called? An uncrustable.
Crustable? Or uncrustable?
I don't know.
Now I can't remember.
But yeah, I'm a. Hence why I've been eating room temperature PB&J. Now you know what I say room. So the bread and the peanut butter is room temperature. The jelly cold. I've been eating room. It's a confused sandwich. What is it? Is it hot? Is it room temperature? Is it cold? Like there's no equilibrium. I'm just throwing off.
I can't. It's not. I didn't make it up. Oh my god. I can't take credit for the very first time I had one was at Drip. So when they like on the menu it was like PB&J, I was like cool. When they brought out it was like a panini press PB&J.
Oh, wow.
I never looked back.
Kids with adult money.
I never looked back.
You making a panini and J.
I think Drip also does it on like raisin toast or something. I'm sorry. Like,
hey, side note, on this raisin toast or whatever. You ever had an egg sandwich on raisin toast?
I can't lie to you.
Ooh.
I can't mess with raisin. Now, I've never had it, but it sounds like a combination.
Hey, so
it sounds like a combination.
raisin
Y'all don't-
and cinnamon?
Y'all don't know this, but Tyler does this. Tyler says like, nah, I don't mess with that. I've actually never had it before, but I don't mess with it.
It does not sound like a combination that I would enjoy.
Yes, you're right. But, well, do you like egg sandwiches? Is that a thing?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. One day.
You gotta make him one.
Well, no, because if he...
if
I make this sandwich, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah.
Whip it first, salt,
Okay.
pepper, that's all.
Okay.
And then I little butter so it can fluff up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Then I flip.
Maybe I will make me a
The kung fu
PB&J
is-
for dinner.
Y'all got me hungry now.
I'm hungry for
You
real.
said kung food? That's a bar.
The kung food.
Kung food.
You kung fu the
The
sandwich.
kung food.
Yes, highly recommend.
Oh man.
That sounds so good.
Hey, I just want to say something extremely black right now because they just brought back gizzards at the War Mouth.
What?
And I know it's on the lunch menu now. I don't know if it's on the dinner menu also, but I am going to, cause I've been eating at home. I told you about the soup, you know what I mean? And like,
I've been trying to stay inside. Groceries high.
Look,
and food outside is extra high.
hence that, that soup.
Right.
That soup, that week-long soup probably probably cost me $3.14 to make.
Honestly, truly.
But yeah, but I could go for some gizzards, and they got them at the War Mouth. I'm gonna see if they're still there, and depending on, is the camera rolling right now? Yeah, I'm gonna check them
Depending
out.
on unforeseen circumstances.
I'm gonna check them out. Yeah, I'm gonna go see if they got it.
Oh, all right.
Hold on. I gotta get it together. Okay. All right. So normally I like to wrap up my interviews with a closing question. And my favorite one to do is what specifically, whether in the last few years or like over your entire lifetime, what about Columbia feels like home to you? And that can be, if it's like music related, family related, a space, a restaurant, anything like that. What specifically about Columbia like makes you feel grounded and at home?
That is a good question. I guess for me, just the people and the family. Like all my family is from South Carolina. Most of my family's from Newberry. And I guess just the memories I've made with my family and friends. I guess that's what makes it home for me. Yeah.
So I never really had a lot of family in South Carolina. It was me, and my parents. So I'm the one, we came to South Carolina when I was 5. So I'm, raised from here, but my parents are not from here.
Right.
And so for me, my side of town, Southeast Columbia, Hopkins, that feels like home. It don't matter what is going on in Columbia. As soon as I pass the VA hospital on Garner's Fed, like
Vine
everything,
Street? I'm from there
everything
too.
past,
That's my side of town.
everything past the VA hospital just makes sense to me. And you mentioned like a restaurant that feels like home, Big T's Barbecue.
My daddy loves Big T's. I like that, and I normally ask that when I'm interviewing artists that either aren't from Columbia. I ask like, what about their city or their area feels like home, and I get a lot of differing answers, but it always hits so close when I ask that for people that are like from here. Similarly, I'm not, I'm from here, and nobody else is. Everyone else is from, Pennsylvania for me, and so it's nice to, in older years, particularly with doing music and interacting with artists, seeing things that feel like home in the art and being outside. So like a lot of artists feel like home, or a lot of the music feels like home. Yeah, I love getting answers to that question. But that's all I got. That's everything for me. You've been great. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, MIDIMarc.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, PSYCHii.